Hey guys, welcome back to the 14th video of the Python Tools for Beginners series. In this video, we'll be learning about global and local variables in Python. So global and local variables in Python is a very important concept and it can be a little confusing to understand at first, but hopefully after I explain this concept to you at the end of the video, you'll have a better idea of what global and local variables are in Python. So here I have written a simple code snippet here. So what I've done is that I've created the variable hello, which is equal to the string morning. Next, I've defined a function called func, and it simply prints out an f string, which we learned in string formatting in a previous video. And here I'm just writing func colon hello. All right, so I'm just printing out hello, and then I'm calling the function. Now, the interesting thing here is that this variable hello is called a global variable. That means any function can access this variable. Let's say I copy paste over here. So I've created a new function called func2 and I'll just change this to func2 as well. And I'll change this to func2 as well. Then let's just run the code. So here you can see that this hello variable is accessed in both functions. All right, so both func and func2, and it's printed out in an f string, and I've called both functions, and this is printed out over here. Okay, so this again is a global variable and can be accessed from any function in Python. Okay, so now what is a local variable? Let me move this hello variable declaration to func. All right, so what I'm doing here is, and let's just remove func2 for now to make it very clear, and let's just run the code. So what is happening here is that within func I am declaring the variable hello and making it equal to the string morning. Next, I'm simply printing out the variable hello in an f string. All right, and then just the func colon there. All right, so this is a local variable and I cannot access this local variable from outside the function. So let's say I want to print out hello. You'll get something called a name error where the name hello is not defined. Basically, the variable hello over here, it's just not defined, it's not declared, and it doesn't exist because this hello variable is inside func. And once the indent block is over, so you can see that the indent is on line 2 and 3. So once line 3 is over, the variable hello is simply deleted, like it doesn't exist anymore and it cannot be accessed outside the function. On the other hand, let me move hello outside. So over here, again, hello is a global variable. So I can access a global variable from outside the function. So here I'm accessing hello, which is outside the function. And I can also refer to hello from outside the function as well. So let's just run the code. So over here you can see that I've printed out func morning, which is due to this function declaration over here, which goes to line number 4 and prints out func colon hello. And then I can also refer to hello from outside the function because again this is a global variable. And once again, just to reiterate, you can see that I get a name error as I'm trying to access hello from outside the function. But this function declaration from line 5 still manages to print out func hello, which you can see over here. After that, we have our error. Okay, so let's see another example. Okay, so here what I've done is that I've declared a variable called total. All right, so total is equal to 0. Next, I declare or define a function called add, which takes in the parameters x and y. Next, I add x and y, and I am making a variable called total, and I'm assigning the sum of x and y to the variable. Finally, I print it out, and I used an f string here. So this will print out the value of total inside the function. All right, so this is what the f string is. Next, I call the function add, and then in line 8, I am trying to access total from outside the function. Okay, so here's something interesting. So what happens here is we actually have two variables called total. Okay, so this is the first variable total, which is a global variable. It can be accessed from any other function, and our global variable is equal to 0. Inside the function add, what happens in line number 4 is that we create a new variable called total, and it is a local variable. So this is our first variable. It's a global variable, and this is actually different from the variable from line number 1. All right, so the variable from line 4 is different from line number 1, and the variable on line number 4 is a local variable. We are basically creating a new variable in line number 4. All right, and we're just assigning the sum to that new variable, to the new local variable, and we're simply printing it out. So this total ends up being 3, which is what 1 plus 2 is. However, this value remains unchanged. All right, and when I print out total from outside the function, I get 0 from here. So this code basically shows that line number 4 does not change the value of total in line number 1. All right. Okay, so finally we learned something about the global keyword. So here I have a new Python file. So let's just run this. Okay, so what I've done here is I've created the variable called hello, and it's equal to the string morning. Next, I've defined a function where I make a variable called hello equal to the string evening. Next, I print out the variable hello, then I call the variable, and finally I print out the variable. So here what's happening is this variable hello is a global variable. So what I've done is I create a global variable called hello, which is equal to morning. Line number 4, I've created a local variable also called hello, and it is equal to the string evening. So the variable in line number 1 is global, the variable in line number 4 is local, the variable in line number 1 is equal to morning, this is equal to evening, and they are two completely different variables. So when I start a function declaration, whenever I define a new variable, I essentially create a new local variable, and whatever we do underneath, we will access the local variable. Right, so here what I'm doing is that I'm accessing the local variable from line number 4, and I'm printing it out, and that's what happens in my function declaration. Basically, when I no, sorry, not function declaration, function, when I'm calling the function, it simply creates a local variable in line number 4, and then it prints the local variable. And then this prints out the global variable. Now let's say I want to access the global variable hello. That means in func, I want to change this variable over here in line number 1, which is a global variable. I want to change it from morning to evening rather than creating a new local variable. I can do this by using the global keyword. So I can simply type global, and you can see that it's highlighted blue, which means it's a reserved keyword in Python. Then space, and then just type in the variable name. So here I'll just type out hello, and that's it. If I print out the code, here what happens is that this variable hello, which is equal to morning, is being accessed by func. So this variable here refers to the global variable hello. All right. And then line number 5, we are now changing the global variable from line number 1 from morning to evening. So essentially we only have one variable called hello in this example. And this comment doesn't apply anymore. Next, we will print out this variable. And this variable again is global. In fact, this, this, and this, all the variable hello are global. All right. They are global variables. There is no local variables over here. And then I print out our global variable. All right. So you can see I call the function. First, we access the global variable. Then we change the global variable from morning to evening. And then we print out the global variable. And that's what happens when we call our function. In line number 9, we access the global variable hello. And if you remember that in line 5, we changed the global variable from morning to evening. So now this will be equal to evening, which is what we get here. So both will be evening, which is again different from what we got over here, which was evening and morning. Just to show these, we have two evenings over here. And if I comment this out, if I comment line 4, so line 4 is not executed, you can see that's evening, morning. That means this variable wasn't changed. Whereas if we uncomment this is evening, the second line is evening, so that means this variable was changed from morning to evening. And hence line 4 allows us to access global variables, and you can change global variables as well. If we go back to our previous example, you can see that total is equal to 0, and then in our add function we made total equal to x plus y. And you can see that over here this is 3 and this is 0. So this is a global variable in line number 1. And then in line number 4, we create a new local variable where total is equal to 3. Then we print out total, the local variable total, which is equal to 3. And that's what happens when we call the function add. And then in line number 8, we print out the global variable total. All right, so this refers to the local variable and this refers to the global variable. So let's say we want to edit our global variable. You can do that by typing global total. Now you can see that previously, so before adding line number 4, we had total equal to 3 and total equal to 0. So over here, this was 0. That means our global variable was unchanged. But when we added line number 4, you can see that our global variable changed from 0 to 3, because that's what line 4 does. It refers to the global variable, and then we edit the global variable total over here. Then we print out the global variable total, and then we again print out the global variable total. All right, so in this case, we only have one variable total, which is global. All right, one more thing is, let's say you're trying to, okay, so I've created a global variable called hello, which is equal to morning. And let's say I try to do this. All right, so over here, this looks interesting because what you're doing is that we're taking a string and multiplying with it 2, but this is basically repeated concatenation, so we should get morning, morning, all right, joined together. So that's what multiplying a string and a number means. So if we run this code, we get something called an unbound local error, where local variable hello is referenced before assignment. What it means is that this variable over here, all right, so in line number 4, the second hello, which I am highlighting with my mouse pointer, that is what Python is doing, is that it's assuming that it is a local variable. It's not assuming it's a global variable, it's assuming it's a local variable. And then it's looking for any declaration, but we haven't written anything before line 4 which would make the local variable hello equal to something. Like we didn't write something like hello is equal to some string, right? We didn't do that. We don't have a line 4. So this is undefined. So we have basically referenced this variable here before assignment. So one way to fix this is to write that. And you can see that we get in line number 6, we print out morning, morning, which is what we get when we multiply hello with 2. And then we print out hello outside. However, you can see that we have repeated line 1 and line 4. If you remove line 1, we get a name error, because in line number 8, this is checking if there is a global variable hello, which does not exist. So it says, hey, it's not defined, so we get a name error. So the way to fix this is to actually just use the global keyword, global hello, and then you can see that we get morning, morning. So over here you can see that our global variable hello was changed in line number 5. So now this variable hello in line number 6 and line number 9 is now equal to morning, morning, which is what we get in both lines in the terminal. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you have understood what global and local variables are in Python. If you like this video, then please consider giving a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in another video.